Dr. Disrespect, Slasher, and Failed Journalism by The Willie Mack Show.
It's out of my head, but I'm still in control.
Amazing.
My conscious, I feel so good.
This was his return stream from messaging a minor. How insane is that? Dr. Disrespect has admitted to inappropriately messaging a minor back in 2017, and that is the reason for his contract termination and ban on Twitch. The same year he messaged a minor, he won Streamer of the Year.
I get a lot of messages, DMs, emails, whispers.
Doc, no! He was telling us the whole time. He's been dropped by his own game studio, Turtle Beaches, Black Steel Bourbon, dropped from the YouTube partnership program, even his own website went.
Wait, he was dropped from that?
Turtle Beaches, Black Steel Bourbon, dropped from the.
Wait, streamer recently confirmed he was banned from Twitch for being inappropriate message. My YouTube is stopping Disrespect channel from making money. I was under the impression it was a temporary demonetization. I think that dropping from the partner program altogether is a little bit of a stretch, but I don't have further information. I'm sure you'll go over.
YouTube partnership program, even his own website went down. No party admits to any wrongdoing. This is the statement he made in his lawsuit with Twitch. 4 years later, he would write, were there Twitch whispers with an individual minor back in 2017? The answer is yes.
See, that's the thing. You know, the whole thing that just is really confusing about this whole situation is that it was this random out of nowhere. This person that was a former Twitch employee, out of the blue, just said, oh, this is the reason. This was the reason for his ban. Me, Actman, so many other people were like, okay, hold up. It's innocent till proven guilty. If you're going to make these allegations, you got to bring receipts. You got to bring something to the table here. And you know what? I was in the camp like, let's see the receipts. Come on now. You can't just make these because it's so common on social media anymore. There was in the Pokemon community I've discussed previously, there was one PokeTuber that claimed another PokeTuber was doing some inappropriate stuff with minors, which was proven false, but that person's name is still affected in the person that, you know, perpetuated that, as far as I'm aware, got away scot-free. So naturally, I'm pretty stressed, frustrated, pissed off when people do this, and we would have waited for the evidence. We would have absolutely waited for this person to bring receipts. I don't know who his legal team is, who his legal firm is, right? The fact that they coached him to say this, like, there's this entire thing that he put out reads like legalese. I refuse to believe that he was not coached legally for this. That's wild. Right there, the answer is yes to the question, were there Twitch whisper messages with an individual minor back in 2017? And the fact that they were, mutual, that sometimes leaned too much in the direction of being inappropriate. My teacher buddy said it best, right? When I explained the situation to him. That's more than should have happened. There's been, feedback in regards to well, it depends what kind of inappropriate. It could be talking about, world history, World War II, things that you really don't talk with a minor. At the end of the day, we don't know what happened. We don't have the messages. The fact of the matter is, at its core, from his official statement, chat with a minor, DM with a minor. The answer is yes. And they ended up being inappropriate. They leaned towards the direction of inappropriate. That's all you need. That is all you need from somebody to say, I don't want to be a part of whatever you're selling. I don't want it. I don't need it. Go away.
And then there's the defense of him, which hasn't been based on any sort of factual reality at all.
Your audience is just jerking off watching you, and everybody knows that. And you know it. Look at her. She's looking down saying, stop that. And then she has the balls to go say, Dr. Disrespect's a terrible person. But this is my...
Sneeko, you are the last person that should ever be talking about shit like this, bro. Like, the lights are on, but nobody's home in that head of yours. Like, straight up, dude. Like, we're really gonna be, sex-shaming streamers, my guy. This man just gives me an aneurysm every time I hear him speak. It's drivel. It's like the dial-up noise.
Problem with this.
They're both bad people, but that doesn't.
But nobody cancels Pokimane. There's no hate brigade. Everyone's
she text a 17-year-old.
But she has 13-year-olds jerking off to her, and she's fine with it and monetizing it. How is that any better?
I get that, but what do you want her to do? Not show her face?
When Neon's got more common sense than you, it's over. And
I get what he's trying to say, but his argument is still fucking dumb. Because what Sneeko's trying to say is that because of how she dressed, because I didn't even know who this was until he said Pokimane, because he's trying to invoke sex shaming because you're appearing as such, therefore you are making these little 13-year-old boys do this. Based on what, Sneeko? Based on what evidence? Do you have that evidence? Do you need to be on a watch list for having this evidence? Right? Like, I understand where he's coming from. But one, it's dumb. Two, Dr. Disrespect, in his formal official statement, admitted to it. Like, what? Bro, some days I wonder, like, I don't get it, man. This man is just, he can't be real.
Then there's the least talked about aspect of this story, the terrible journalism by Slasher that has confused, muddied, and made people cast doubt on this entire situation, admitting to me that he has pushed this story without ever seeing the messages. No nameable source has. As part of his career redemption arc, he pushed the false allegation that Doc was arrested for this.
I did get a DM about an hour ago from someone who lives in Encientes, and he sent me a screenshot from his next door. There is a comment that says, "We just saw Dr. Disrespect in handcuffs," and this.
Based on what evidence? Do you have an arrest record? Do you have anything on your state PD? Okay, it could have been some weird kink thing. You just don't know, my guy. Like, I hate being an adult. Because what's the thing that people say? Be mindful of your peers. But then I retort with, half my peers are idiots, the others are dumbasses. There's no journalistic integrity here. Like, what? That's an assumption based on what? Eyewitness testimony and nothing else?
Okay, bro. Okay, I can't believe you just dropped that in here, because like, if that is untrue, this is like you're squandering all of the cultural capital that you're winning back by being correct on this matter for the past 4 years.
It was untrue. Even Hassan is shocked by the low quality journalism. The goal of this video is to clear out the weeds so you know the full story, front to back. What the information is, who the sources are, there's a lot of misinformation going around, and some of this stuff just makes zero sense.
So I want to actually commend Willie Mack on this, because I'm all in for this. I think that this is, people can complain, oh, this is drama tubing. I don't think this is necessarily drama tubing because he's bringing the facts. He's bringing the citations. Hey, this is my bias and this is what the situation is, but we're going to go through it and we're going to build this argument. And whether at the end he's like, you should believe this or you shouldn't believe this, and to make your own educated opinion, right? Like, at least he's building the case. This is such an oddity for me to see on social media anymore, and I'm absolutely loving it.
Makes me feel like I need a lawyer up for the mental damage done to me. But most people don't realize that when you get workers' comp or an injury from a car accident, the insurance companies are often trying their best to take advantage of your inexperience so they could pay you as little as possible. That's why Morgan & Morgan exists. Now, I may not be able to sue Dr. Disrespect when it comes to my head injury. It's self-inflicted after all. But you can still go your owed when it comes to your car accident or injury in the workplace. They won't settle for the insurance company's lowball offers. These are just some of the verdicts they've been able to achieve. Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm with over 1,000 attorneys, meaning that they have the resources and the manpower to make sure your case gets the best possible outcome. The insurance companies will never tell you this, but if you were part of a serious injury, your case could be worth millions of dollars. In the past 12 months, they've achieved significant verdicts for victims involved in life-altering car crashes, like $12 million in Florida and $26 million in Philadelphia, 40 times higher than the highest insurance offer. And the fee is absolutely free unless you win. And you don't even have to sit in a law office for hours to do it. Just use their app to upload relevant documents, medical records, and even communicate with your attorney. It's so easy. So if you ever get seriously injured, your case could be worth millions, life-changing money. You could go to forthepeople.com/Willie or scan the QR code. It only takes a few minutes to see if you have a case. Thank you, Morgan & Morgan, for sponsoring this video.
I did it. I admit.
So 9 out of 10. It was 10 out of 10 for me. I think it went on a little long. That's probably because he had a time quota to fill, but the transition was great. The audio was consistent. The information came at you pretty quickly. It was very short, very snappy, right? I think that when it came down to, it was about the part where, like, you can input your details, right? Stuff like that. That's where I started to get lost a little bit, because at that point, it's just a lot of information in quick succession over an extended period of time. Other than that, a fantastic ad read.
I did it. I don't give a fuck. I did it.
Dr. Disrespect's lack of transparency over the years I find particularly disturbing. The narrative he let transpire surrounding his band was so dishonest. On his first stream back from his band, he'd act like some returning hero.
You think I'm gonna stop right there? You think that's the end of the line?
hindsight completely changes the meaning of some of the things he says.
We're just getting started.
Dark alleyways is where they're gonna find us.
This is so much funnier knowing that he's a creep. He's thanking people who were supportive of him, who thought he was being screwed by Twitch.
Paid with a $100 donation says, God damn, it feels good to have you back, Doc, and it does feel good. It does.
The original theory that
Like, so here's the thing, right? Before any of this, right? It's like, did I know Dr. Disrespect existed? Yeah. I just didn't really care. He was inconsequential. Like, there's people that liked him, there's people that I knew, and there's people that I followed on Twitter that like follow him. Like, who cares, right? If you like Dr. Disrespect, you like Dr. Disrespect. This is obviously in context before the situation. Naturally, since then, you know, people have unfollowed him, and yeah, that's been pretty apparent that he took a big, massive L. Like, I mean, even the Vinny Vinesauce, didn't he do the whole Dr. Disrespect parody? Someone's gonna know what I'm talking about. Someone else here has watched Vinny Vinesauce and know exactly what I'm talking about. But like, I don't know. I look at him and it's like, if this didn't happen, it's just like, cool, yeah, he's big streamer, whatever. Not my thing. Somebody's thing. Not my thing. Cool. Enjoy. But then again, knowing that people like this are able to get a massive following, you know, it fills me with hope a little bit that maybe I'm not the biggest idiot on the internet.
Like culminate
Maybe.
was that Microsoft's live streaming service Mixer was stealing some of Twitch's biggest stars. So in March of 2020, Twitch secured Dr. Disrespect with a massive contract. June 22nd of 2020, Mixer would announce that it was shutting down. And mysteriously, just 3 days later, Twitch would ban Dr. Disrespect. This was the narrative at the time, as other sources refused to elaborate and even deleted their tweets. Meanwhile, Doc ate up all the love thrown his way.
Man, the love is strong. A lot of people reached out. In fact, I had an Excel worksheet and I had all these names. And I was going to shout them out. I mean, it's like pages. In regards to the ban, there's a lot of people that want to know. They want to know what happened. Why did you get banned? We still have no idea, as far as I'm concerned. We didn't do anything to warrant a ban, let alone how they went about banning us.
This was August 7th of 2020 before the lawsuit. So there is a chance he didn't know, as the messages sent to the minor were from 2017, which was the same time he was caught cheating on his wife. Doc confirms this date in his recent.
So people do this, right? Like, this is one of those things. I get that's people trying to connect the line, and I've heard accusations and allegations of him cheating on his wife, which he seems to corroborate here, and allegedly engaging physically with his wife. And like, there are other people for that. What I was concerned about, and what my sole concern is him being inappropriate with a minor. That's the big one. That's it. And you see this with other people as well. Like, someone will say something like, oh, well, they cheated on their wife and they did this. And it's like it's some sort of justification just to like throw hands over posts. I don't know. It's one of those, like, I think it goes into confirmation bias, is if I had to like address that. Confirmation bias because of why I think this person's bad or why I don't like this person. It's an interesting phenomenon to actually look at.
Twitter response, writing, were there Twitch whispers with an individual minor back in 2017? The answer is yes. Were there real intentions behind those messages? The answer is absolutely not.
Who cares?
He did it. Mistakes, man. There are reports from former Twitch staff alleging that he planned to meet up at TwitchCon with her and that he knew she was underage. I recall that Dr. Disrespect was made aware by the individual that they were underage during the conversation, after which he indicated that this was no problem and continued on. Also,
I think that becomes a different situation as well, right? Like, especially in the age of the internet, I can never condone adults talking to minors. Do not mistake that, right? If you're talking, right, and they, you know, the other party goes, hey, I'm 16. Cool, block, bye, I'm out, right? Reasonable adult things to do. Hey, I'm 16. Hey, I'm 17. Oh, there's no problem with that, dude. You're on some stuff. Like, that, this should never be a thing. And the fact that like this is becoming so normalized and people are becoming so desensitized to personalities and celebrities and streamers doing this is insane to me.
saying that Doc's retelling of the messages, leaning too much in the direction of being inappropriate, is vastly downplaying the situation. The employee says that Twitch had an initiative in 2020 to investigate streamers who had allegations against them, and that the alleged victim reported it during this time. That's why it didn't come out in 2017, and why Doc was banned just days after this tweet announcing the new initiative. It was also revealed that YouTube knew the allegations the whole time. That's why they never offered Doc a contract.
YouTube knew, and they still promoted him. That's juicy information that I wanted. That's a problem for me. They knew. They knew, and they didn't offer him a contract, but they still facilitated his behavior. That's a problem to me, Captain. That's not okay.
Seems like everyone behind the scenes knew. So when Doc claims that he didn't, that just doesn't seem believable to me anymore. He looks at his phone and seemingly gets more serious. It seems like he knows something. Then he pulls up a Roblox video and sits in silence, finally saying this before ending his stream immediately.
Life's weird right now.
Yeah, he knows.
Well, we'll get through this, okay? And,
Hey, Christopher.
fuck.
You get to try.
So was he talking about his Roblox video here, or was he talking about his soon-to-be Ben? And it just makes me wonder, did he really not know during his comeback stream?
So let the legal professionals do what they need to do.
I understand that. So here's the thing. I can get behind that. If someone makes an allegation against me, right? Or someone makes an allegation against like Moist Critical or other VTubers, right? Let the legal professionals handle it out, especially if a party is claiming something and has no evidence, right? Like there is a process to go through. Like I understand that, and people have argued with me, and they're just like, well, this isn't what happened. You're just going off of misinformation, and you need to let legal professionals handle this. In his official tweet, he said it happened. Regardless of, without any extraneous information, the fact that his official statement says that a conversation with a minor happened and they lean towards being inappropriate, that's all you need. That is all anybody needs to make a snap judgment. Absolutely. Because it's not a random saying it, it's him saying it. Or his law firm coaching him to say that, to what we're seeing allegedly downplay the severity of it. That's all you need.
That's it. My conscience. I feel so good. You know what I was talking to right there? I was talking to the small percentage. The ones that have a...
Let's go. Ready?
There's
I'm in.
Sense of urgency that want to know right now because you know what they want. Something bad to happen out of it, right? Let's not beat around the bush. That's just a small percentage, though.
I mean, I don't really care about people that think it's okay to talk inappropriate to minors, right? Somebody that plays, Yu-Gi-Oh, somebody that plays Pokemon, I've had to deal with minors in a professional capacity as somebody who has multiple friends that are teachers, right? Teach students, right? It's disgusting. It's filthy. There's some sort of weird power play to be some kind of weird cringe like anime VTuber on the internet and to speak more reason than this man. It's such a weird power play.
The larger percentage, the true supporters, the followers of the doc, they know what I'm about.
That's how
They've been following me for years.
That's how you
They know
cults.
what I'm about. I don't beat around the bush. I get straight to the point.
In hindsight, it's so manipulative. One thing is
Yeah,
for
it
sure,
is.
though, he did know during the lawsuit, and he insisted that he was the victim.
I appreciate the support. You guys have just been absolutely amazing. What the Twitch ban has really, how it's really affected us, not just from a financial standpoint, but from a networking standpoint, from all the relationships we built over the past 5 years in terms of Activision and EA. I mean, everyone, all the big sponsors, all the big partnerships, they have to question, why did you get banned?
I mean,
So here's the thing, though. If YouTube knew the reason behind the ban, how many of these other companies knew about his reason for the ban? We want to talk about, what is it, Midnight Studios, his own studio, ousting him? Did they know before this? Were they complicit in this? And then when it got public attention, that's when they ousted him? How many business partners, right? Because we've seen people tweeting, it's the screenshot of their email, and it's like, well, Doc, I like to keep it professional. I don't deal with people that deal with minors. Did those business partners know about this? And you can see from this, right? Because this enters speculation territory. You see that once you have that label of being inappropriate with minors, right? Once you have that aura around you, once you have that you did this, right? You see how that affects everyone, right? Everyone else around you. And so thus, yeah, it's a good question. How many other people, how many other businesses, how many other partners knew about this and just didn't care until it became a problem? And then they decided to abandon ship. If the answer is all of them, I think we do need to be taking a critical look at all of them. And even then, we need to be taking a critical look at all these business partners. YouTube, not super happy with YouTube, not because of the copyright situations that keep happening, but because YouTube was complicit in this. They knew, and nothing seemed to be done about it until, once again, an issue happens. Looks like they got egg on their face, and then they're going to revoke his monetization, right? This is huge. Like, this is like conspiracy theory level huge. And we all have a good conspiracy theory, right? Like, I used to work in finance, and I remember talking to somebody for 2 hours, and they were talking about this, how the CIA put rabbits on the moon, and how, what was it? Was it the FBI was weather terraforming Alaska or something like that? They were using nanites in clouds and stuff. Bro, those are the best calls. Those are the best people to talk to. I love that stuff. Like, but then I ground myself in reality, and I'm just like, I don't really care. I'm gonna go play games. This is a network of just awfulness. This is like jank level Scorpion Clan stuff, like L5R Scorpion Clan status. As the Scorpion in the room, this is bad. They should feel bad.
Yeah, from a business point of view, it is a completely legitimate question to ask.
But a lot of people ask me, do you know the reason? Yeah, I do know the reason why now. I've known for months now the reason why. And I'll just say this right now, champs. There's a reason why we're suing the out of them. Okay? I don't know how else to put it. The amount of damages and you just don't... No, it really...
That's why I'm careful with what I say, and why my judgment is based off of, once again, his official tweet, his official statement. Because you don't know if this man's going to get litigious or not.
It sucks. I don't know how else to put it, man. It's affected us in so many different ways. And I've just been in a...
He's making it seem like the reason was completely ridiculous. Twitch is irrational, when there's at least some truth to it. No party admits to any wrongdoing.
So, let's go over.
Ridiculous. Twitch is irrational, when there's at least some...
So, Willie Mac Show, right? Willie Mac Show is highlighting the 2 passages that I did in my own video, in my own rant. Wow. It's almost like Kip knows what he's talking about sometimes. It's almost like Kip hones in on things that are really stupid and why aren't we talking about this? The 2 specific sections that I have cited countless times are the ones being highlighted here. I'll take that W.
Truth to it. No party admits to any wrongdoing. This was the statement given after Twitch allegedly paid out Dr. Disrespect in full, farther pushing the narrative that he did nothing wrong. As you guys know, this would come to a head last week when an ex-Twitch employee, Cody Connors, would tweet, Dr. Disrespect got banned because he was caught sexting minors in the existing Twitch Whispers product. He was trying to meet up with her at TwitchCon. Case closed. This would come out during Doc's most recent live stream, which is just hilarious to watch. It all broke right after he ate this cupcake.
Third try, and Baby Assassin brought me a little cupcake as a celebration.
Oh, I was actually coming out here to pick up a cupcake.
I'm gonna eat my...
Oh my god. Oh, that is priceless. For those of you that don't know who that is EDP445. Moist Critical has a good video out on him. Woo, boy, that cupcake though, that's funny.
A cupcake, and I'm gonna celebrate. Nothing you're gonna do about it.
There was, nothing that was going to be sexual involved, because I'm not like that. Well, obviously the text messages and stuff like that, you know what I mean?
Note to self, do not eat cupcakes. Doc's chat would be filled with messages begging him to respond. Even the glasses can't hide the doom in his eyes.
Mate, turn down your audio 40% on that game. Jesus Christ. Yeah.
He's like this for over a minute. And then he goes silent again. A fan would ask how he's doing, and he seems to know he's screwed.
How we feeling, Doc? Says Roy. I'll be honest, I'm feeling a little fatigued.
A little fatigued.
Feeling a little fatigued.
Yeah.
We came in here, champs.
I'm sure.
We came in here. High energy. But I'm telling you, man, I'm just feeling fatigued.
Wow, what can...
Watching his brain try to because you can see the cogs turning. You can how do I not address the situation, but I also know that this is going to be an awful situation that I'm going to have to discuss. Man, this man is torn.
Convenient timing.
When shit like this happens over the weekend, and it just kind of It's like how many times can I I don't like I'm actually tired of being on social media, and I've expressed that.
In all fairness to him, social media is a dumpster fire. The amount of VTubers, not just me, the amount of VTubers that I have seen that have really just needed to vent about their interactions on social media, people coming out and bullying them on stream and stuff. Like, I can level with that. Social media is a cesspool, and it's why sometimes I just don't answer my Discord. Sometimes I'm not present in my Discord because I just walk away for like a day, or I just sit and call playing Elden Ring or something for a day with a couple of my buddies, right? Like, I get that. Especially being a big personality. I have the fortune, I would argue, to have to build up, right? As of right now, we're still under 40,000 subscribers, right? I have to build up. I can't imagine what Moist Critical goes in. I can't even keep up with all the bots in my emails right now that are like, oh, we request a collaboration for this product. It's like, I will be sponsored by a product, one, not on a reaction, and two, if I believe in the product. Like, I can empathize. Man knows he's cooked.
Over the years, champs. I just,
This part actually makes me a bit angry because instead of defending himself or saying that he's going to talk to his lawyers before responding, he acts like he's above taking this seriously.
Over the years, it's just gotten, I don't know, like it's been drained out of me. It's being drained out of me. It's being drained out of my family and I. But I think the first and foremost, though, is I did have a sort of a planned vacation coming up.
Yeah.
And I think I might just extend that starting now.
He's literally running out of town.
I think when I say step away, I think.
So does that mean that his family knew? And by extension, does that mean his in-laws or his parents knew that he did this? You see how, once again, we come to the uncertainty of who knows who helped in this, right? That's a problem. Just don't message minors. If somebody comes out and DM like, hey, I'm 16, bye. Nope, I'm out. Nope. I don't have to worry about that because I don't get many DMs as is. You get what I'm saying, right? Good God, dude. Like, I'm kind of glad that I have experience playing Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! Because at the very least, it allows me to communicate with minors in a capacity that makes sense and is like, cool, yeah, that makes sense. In the rant that I did, I had somebody who said they were 16. They're commenting like, I don't understand why this situation is bad. And I outlined in like a paragraph, like, this is why this is bad. Now imagine if instead of me posting this and you acknowledging you're 16 and I'm, this 29-year-old VTuber, right? Now imagine if this was in DMs, how that would be a little bit of a different context if I were to DM that. It's in public. It's in plain view of everybody. It's appropriate. It's respectful. It's professional. You're done. It's not hard.
I mean, I'm going to have to.
That green screen, though.
Either have to relay this to the Midnight Society, but maybe.
Did Call of Duty know? That's my question. Did Call of Duty know? He's still in the game, right? He's still a skin in the game. He's still got stuff in the game for him, right? Did Call of Duty, Activision Blizzard, did they know? Bobby Kotick, did you know?
I step away from there too.
This was likely Doc strategically getting ahead of his own company, Midnight Society, dropping him. And then there's the boldest part of Doc's defense, which is saying that all of his haters are terminally online. Trust me when I say this.
Look, I'm online a lot. I'm not a hater. I hate that I hate that he uses this logic, and it actually pisses me off. Hate, quote unquote, hating somebody, right? Hating somebody that, as an adult, and interacts with a minor in an inappropriate fashion is not a hater. That's you being an adult, okay? Don't make it sound like we're these terminally online Twitter users when you fucked up. That's your issue. That's your problem, homie. We're not haters. We're just adults. It's the South Park meme. Hey, we don't take kindly to those who talk to minors inappropriately. Now, Skeeter, we don't want any trouble. No, Why do all these big streamers get to do that? You insert the meme here. I can rattle on, but you get the point, right? No, we don't. We as adults don't take kindly to adults that are inappropriate with minors. This isn't hard. This isn't rocket science. This isn't illogical.
To all my haters that live and breathe social media with zero real life experience, I don't give a about you. I'm not going anywhere. I don't know how you're gonna call anyone terminally online when you were a 35-year-old man cheating on your wife with a 17-year-old. Now, this is all under the assumption that what Doc has sent to the minor was verified by the journalist. But surprisingly, the information they've actually laid eyes on is less than you realize. Like a lot less. If there's a defense for Dr. Disrespect, I'm having trouble looking past two major red flags. The first one is when he says, were there intentions behind these messages? The answer is absolutely not. What were those false intentions? Was it meeting up? It's exactly what pedos say on To Catch a Predator when they show up to the house.
This man.
Oh my, Chris Hansen. I've been watching way too much South Park recently. The Tourette's Chris Hansen one was I was watching it literally the other day. That makes it even funnier.
Excuse sounds pretty old.
And what have you heard about those stories?
That there's pedophilers out there, but that's not my intention tonight. I just wanted to have a party and have a good time.
He also takes moral responsibility with his only defense being, anyone who truly knows me fucking knows where I stand on those things.
He said that he was messaging a minor and it would sometimes lead to teeter on inappropriate.
You hear that from your friend? And you get away as fast as you can. You debate. You call the police at that point. Holy crap, dude! Really, bro?
If he knew that was a minor, and those were the messages being sent, I cannot support that. I can't.
He basically confirms that. You know, he was texting an underage girl, and it went weird sometimes. You know, and look,
dude is jacked.
Just to be blunt and straightforward, man. That's inexcusable. It's unacceptable, right?
So you see their logic, though, right? I'm sorry, they intake the information. Nah, bro. Nah, I'm not. I ain't being a part of that. Nope, not happening.
Can't support it. I can't defend it.
The defense of Doc has also been one of the most embarrassing things I've ever seen. There's an email going around defending Doc. It was an anonymous source saying that the girl was 17, but that Doc didn't know the age at the time. And because of the brand name, the messages could be interpreted as inappropriate. That's why in the court proceedings, they settled with no wrongdoings. But this thing's obviously fake because it gets so many details wrong. Like saying that the Twitch whispers were from many weeks prior from his last stream. We know according to Doc himself, it was 3 years prior. This anonymous email has also been called out as fake by Slash's anonymous source.
Have you seen this email going around, by the way?
I can say it is 100% fake bullshit, just like everything else. Stop believing everything you read on the internet.
My God.
A primary source says...
I have no clue who this is, Hassan. I don't actually know who they are. I know that they're a big name, but I've never actually, watched this stuff.
Literally, in quotes, LOL in capital letters, this is complete bullshit.
Yet for some reason, you have people like Sneeko taking it as a fact. Western culture is hilarious. If someone texts a girl that's...
Of course, Sneeko... Dude. Oh, Sneeko, please. I need you to just grow some brain cells, my guy. Sneeko's just low-hanging fruit. That's the problem. He's such low-hanging fruit that, even if you make fun of him, it doesn't feel good. You just feel sad inside. You want, just a whole can of Pringles. Come on, man.
17 years, 11 months old, he gets jumped by the whole industry. But if the same girl waits one more month to sell her body on OnlyFans, she is celebrated by that same industry as an independent queen. Clown world. We do not know this girl's age. She could be 17 or she could be 15, 13. We have no idea. On top of that, Doc is 42. He would have been 35 at the time. If you're 35 years old and you're trying to hook up with a minor, I'm going to call you the P word. You have all this fame and money and the only thing you have to do is not message someone who's under 18 and you blew it.
Dr. Disgust.
So that's actually one of those interesting conversations that I've had. And it's really interesting to hear the back and forth on it. So I've been look, as long as you're 18, I really don't care. If you want to date a 42-year-old, whatever, man. I don't care. If you're 21, you want to date someone that's 55, whatever. I personally don't care. The moment you start getting into, Romeo and Juliet law territory, or you start getting into No, I don't even touch that. That being said, I have people that, I have friends then they're just like, well, it's not really appropriate for a 35-year-old to date an 18-year-old. And even then, my parents actually mirror this sentiment because it's like, yeah, what's there to talk about? And absolutely, that's the thing. What's there to talk about, right? Like, I personally don't even really like vibe with people that are like under 25, 26. There's that life experience just isn't there, right? How do you talk to an 18-year-old about mortgages and escrows and how interesting they are as a concept? How do you talk about like military history when they don't have that life experience, right? Like my hard cap is like 21, like under that, no. But Kip, you have 18, 19, and 20. Like, sure, they exist. They're of age. They probably will have nothing to talk about with me, and that it's all I want to do. Literally anything else with my day at that point. So it's interesting to think about, right? It's like it's a topic that gets brought up, and everyone has an opinion on it. I'm of the opinion, as long as it's fucking legal, I don't give a shit. Okay, but there are absolutely considerations to be made with why are you 42? Why are you 18, 19? What do you guys talk about? What do you guys like? How does this work exactly? I think there is a conversation to be had there.
Thing, says Valkyrie. Yuck, says Pokimane. Everyone hates you, but as soon as that second hits midnight, then she can sign up on OnlyFans, sell her body, and then everyone's going to parade around and say, you go, queen. You're an independent girl boss. Slay.
What the hell is he talking about?
Clown world. I don't know everything about Dr. Disrespect, but what is let's break it down. Pokimane pretty much does softcore porn for 14-year-old boys. Her audience.
You had a source on that? Citation, fact, anything? Like, do you have anything to bring to the table on that?
Audience is 95% men who are jerking off the entire stream.
Where's your Excel spreadsheet? Where's that citation? Where's your statistics? Like, can we see them? Can you back this up with logic? There's an irony that his YouTube plaque is crooked.
Pokey, I want to poke you, Pokey.
We're comparing Pokimane, who has simps, and maybe you could argue she could thirst trap, with Dr. Disrespect, who was caught messaging a minor. These are not comparable whatsoever.
That's why I age gate my streams. I don't want minors in my streams. I don't want to deal with them. I put the funny little box that says, hey, you have to be 18 or older to get in here. If they click it and they're not 18, I mean, look, I said that they can't come in. I'm sorry, Mrs. Karen. I'm sorry that little Timmy's watching Kip streams and, watching me call Sneeko an idiot for 20 minutes. What do you want from me?
Neon recognizes that.
Your audience is just jerking off watching you, and everybody knows that. And you know it. Look at her. She's looking down saying, stop that. Look at that cringe. She's cringing at her simp fans off on the stream all day, and she's aware of it. And then she has the balls to go say Dr. Disrespect's a terrible person. But this is my problem with this.
It's really funny because you think about that he's tried to fight Brandon Buckingham and Moist Critical, and he's backed out of both of those. This man I lose brain cells every time I hear him speak.
Bad people, but like that doesn't.
But nobody cancels Pokimane. There's no hate brigade. Everyone's like
text a 17-year-old.
But she has 13-year-olds off to her, and she's fine with it and monetizing it.
I like Homeboy on the right. Homeboy on the right has the right idea. Like, he's the logical one here, right? Like, Andrew Tate follower. Oh, he absolutely is. He's baby Andrew Tate. That's all he is. That's his entire personality. He's boring. Like, Homeboy on the right's like, bro, he messaged a 17-year-old inappropriately, right? And Sneeko's just going off of no facts, information, showing no statistics, and just kind of throwing stuff out there.
How is that any better?
I get that, but what do you want her to do? Not show her face? Like,
or don't get on a moral high ground about that.
Like, the way she's like, it doesn't look like she's dressed crazy.
But she has no legs to stand on.
Dude, he's getting put in his place. He's so funny.
High ground about Dr. Disrespect when Twitch is 13 plus and her entire chat is jerking off to her, and she's aware. She's like right here. She's
in a perfect world, what do you want her to do?
Don't talk about Dr. Disrespect.
How can she help that? Does she need to wear a hijab? One is Dr. Disrespect directly participating in the interaction. The other one is Pokimane just existing on camera. Jeremy has been pushing the same lie that the girl was confirmed 17. After Doc admitted to messaging a minor, Jeremy replied, firm handshakes. Are you congratulating him, Jeremy? I don't understand. He delete this tweet and say, spam my firm handshakes reply to him all you want in the replies. I am right. You were all acting like he got caught having sex with a 9-year-old.
9, 13, 15, 17, 17, 364. Doesn't matter, bro. Minor is minor. I've heard vaguely of the quartering. I haven't heard anything good about them. I have zero reference point. It doesn't matter, bro. It could be like 6. They could be 7, like a day from 18. It doesn't matter. People make my head hurt.
Jeremy would reel this back on his YouTube channel, coming up with a conspiracy saying this only came out because Nick Merckx hates trans people.
To my opinion, that the only reason...
Oh! God, I haven't seen this guy in a hot minute.
...that this finally came out about Doc is because Nick kicked the hornet's nest by saying, leave the kids alone. Nick had said, hey, these, certain types of people are not real people. You're either a boy or you're a girl. And then coincidentally, a few days later, they released what the real reason Doc was banned for. Now, I assume that means they probably didn't have anything on Nick and they figured the best way to hurt him would be to hurt his friend.
What is he fucking talking about, dude? He's going. He's really like... What is he talking about? Are my rants more coherent than this? I feel like they are.
These people who are moralizing on Twitter about it and celebrating it, they never cared about protecting kids. They never cared about what Doc did. They cared that Doc's friend dunked on the LGBTQ community.
I feel like
LGBTQIA+. I keep... dude, it's not hard. It's actually not hard, my guy. I don't...
Nick's been doing that once a week for the past 5 months. There's no correlation here. It's always got to loop back to trans people. Are the trans people under your bed right now, Jeremy? No matter what the ex-employee's motives were, it's good that this is out. Now, even though this whole subject made Jeremy look like a clown at best and a freak at worst, I still agree with his video in principle.
What I'm saying is, let me see the messages. If the messages really are as bad as the left and the mainstream media want you to believe,
It's not even a left or mainstream media issue, my guy. Before Dr. Disrespect made his statement, we all were like this. Show us the receipts. Show us citations. Show us proof. We were all rightfully in that camp. Dr. Disrespect makes official statement admitting he did it. Nah, dude's fucked. Nah, get out of here. Nope, don't want to deal with him. Not happening. Nope, nope.
All clearly seen them. And if you put them out there and they really are, the bad of the bad, then it's over, right? It's just done.
And it begs the question, why didn't Twitch make this clear from the start and have the journalist even seen anything? The answers are concerning.
La da da, a toast to the bad guy. With bad bitches, the bad times will pass by.
The problem with the main journalist on this story is that he's always leading people on as if he knows more than he actually does, ultimately confusing the story. When asked what is the age of the girl, Slasher, aka Rod, gives a non-answer.
Do you know the age of the person?
Was not used in the reporting.
Are they 17 or are they younger than 17?
It does... I don't know, man. Like, why are we arguing 17 is even a thing? If they're a minor, they're a minor. But that's where I stand on that.
I do not have comment.
What do you mean you don't have a comment? Do you know or not? Okay, how about this? Why didn't Twitch say anything allowing this alleged predator to roam freely for 4 years, paying him millions in the process?
All of this was about protecting the victim, okay? That is why Twitch has never said anything. They will never say anything, not just about this case, but any of the other sexual misconduct, harassment, or assault cases that have ever happened on this platform, whether it's Method Josh or Hashinshin or Doc or anyone else.
That is very different, as Method Josh had screenshots and receipts backing up the allegations. And Shinshin has Twitch whispers that leaked of him talking to a 15-year-old while he was 26, saying she should watch him without pants on. Twitch confirmed that this is why they banned him. It is the opposite of what Slasher is saying. With Doc, there's nothing, and the fact that Twitch willingly paid out makes them look bad, like they mishandled this whole thing.
The responsibility of...
I heard that allegedly the reason that they didn't do it is because it could violate some terms of service and privacy stuff. I don't know the validity on that. I hope he probably will go over this, but that would make, hey, We're just gonna settle. We know you did it. You know you did it. You know that we can't do this, but we have this. We're just gonna settle. It could be that.
Trust and safety, and the legal and law enforcement employees that work for these companies, they are to protect the victim. They're to make sure the victims are anonymous and to make sure the victims are safe. The only reason we know about certain other cases is because those victims came forward. The victim never wanted to come forward or be involved in this situation.
Okay.
That is why Twitch had never said anything, and they will continue to never say anything.
Right, but if the evidence didn't come forward in these other cases, these guys would still be around with clean reputations. Also, how does releasing the messages endanger the victim? Just redact the name. Then we wouldn't have 4 more years of potentially new victims. Destiny would challenge Slasher on this, and he wouldn't have a good answer.
A lot of the piece is to contextualize why Twitch was unable to say anything and why they do not say anything, and why something like the logs are never going to come out, nor should you want to see them.
But is there an answer that's good, or is it just like to protect the victim thing?
Well, they're the two main answers, and all that it needs to be focused on is that, quote unquote, it not only endangers the victim, which needs to be the priority, Destiny. It's not for.
Wait, how does it endanger the victim?
Any potential for the victim to be identified.
I can understand the argument. We're like, what if Jane Doe is 16 and had a relationship with this big streamer, right? There could be the potential for them to be bullied, ostracized. Like, I understand a lot of that. This gets into a really heavy discussionary topic, and I don't really feel like I have the necessary information to make a judgment one way or the other. I feel that, and I think that's what it comes down to. As far as we had a situation in Idaho where someone in the anime community was alleged to do a thing, but because they didn't come forward, charges were dropped. Whether it happened or not, I don't know. This is what I've heard through word of mouth. I can't verify anything. Like, you do run into those situations where if there's no claimant, so to speak, or if there's no person that's willing to push, the case can get dropped. And I think that there needs to be a discussion in how do we protect children? How do we protect minors from people like this? How do we report this anonymously and only to the proper people?
How could it possibly lead to the victim being identified?
There is no reason. So Slasher just starts making up new reasons for why these messages can't be released. It's suddenly illegal to show the messages.
People should not and cannot demand information and access to when not only should they not have it, but a lot of times it is illegal. Okay?
But then because Doc knows who the person was, right?
Yes, but the public doesn't. Nobody else does.
Yeah, but how is the public seeing a personal DM going to like clue them in? Like, do we have?
It is illegal to publicly show underage minors and their conversations.
There's no shot that's illegal.
What law is he citing? I don't know. Everyone disagrees. No one can find anything. If there was nude sent or illegal material, I would understand. But Twitch is
right. And there's so, for example, in criminal cases, right, there's CP that exists, and it's held in evidence lockers, and it's held in specific facilities, right? Someone who's actually done forensics will know a lot more than this. They're going to know what I'm referencing. I have a base understanding of the concept, right? You store stuff like that with, people that can access that, hey, you're accessing this for this specific case, right? There's a reason to access that. But stuff like that, especially when it comes to serial unalivers, when it comes to repeat offenders, when it comes to just horrible people, some of the evidence it's not destroyed, it's not burned, it gets stuck in an evidence locker in case something like that comes up down the line. So that's kind of a weird gray area in regards to CP existing, but that's mostly we're resolving the situation and keeping this in case someone tries to do this again. That way it makes it easier to identify going in the future. I don't know. I think he's trying to do one party, 2-party consent states where if I were to record you, random chat member, and you were in Florida and I was recording you without your consent, right? And then you're like, well, I don't want you using that, right? Florida's a 2-party state, right? Both parties have to, agree to being recorded. Maybe he's trying to like go that route, but I don't get it. And even then, you're right, chat. Stuff like that takes a toll on people after review that evidence, right? You have to have the credentials. People know you're looking into that evidence for a case, and it takes its toll on you, right? That's why there's specific people that go into the military. There's specific people that go into forensics. There's specific people that do specific things. Like, man, we're covering macro issues today.
Already reported this incident to authorities, and apparently there is no investigation.
When it was initially reported, all reports with CSCA or CSAM are reported to the National Center of Missing and Exploited Children.
Okay, so there is a report on Dr. Disrespect at the National Center.
The legal process after, again, no court records have ever been found. I've never been able to get law enforcement to comment or even acknowledge that a thing exists. Do not have details on where it went after.
Just to be clear, though, those are just reports, right? So, like, for instance, if I think that Forethought has been engaged in bad behavior in my subreddit, like, if I would make that report to them. They would have that report filed. That doesn't mean anything. It's just a report, right?
Well, NCMEC automatically works with all law enforcement organizations.
Sure, I'm just saying that, like, a report is just a report. It doesn't necessarily mean that, like, something happened. It just means somebody felt like they had an obligation to make that report, right?
Yeah.
The context of what report means is definitely important there.
Well, Twitch is obligated to make that report.
Now, just because nothing came from this doesn't mean Doc isn't guilty. It just means what he did wasn't illegal. That is why it's important for the court of public opinion to have evidence so they can make a proper decision. Inappropriate messages with minors get posted all the time as part of other stories. I don't know why this one would be any different or why it would be illegal, but either way, when Doc chose to sue Twitch, they had the option to take things to discovery where the messages could leak through a legal avenue. Slasher says they didn't because they wanted to protect the victim.
Twitch's responsibility ultimately will always be on the victim and to try to do what they can. And specifically in this case, because it involved a minor, having it always be as anonymous as possible and their safety was their primary importance.
Sure, you can say all of this, but, like, Twitch could have literally just said, like, we've terminated the contract with Dr. Disrespect because we found out that he was engaged in, like, illicit sexual contact with underage people. Like, I don't know how that statement endangers the victim. Like, Doc already knows that personally. He knows 100% why his contract was terminated. So I don't know how that...
Like if they give the specifics here, then they're obligated to give specifics on many other very delicate, strong situations.
Wait, why? No, they're not.
Is it completely necessary that...
Dude, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Stop making up stuff. Just answer the damn question. Stop deflecting.
That Twitch or another tech company is responsible for giving specifics, especially in a case like this.
Is it completely necessary? I mean, like, probably not necessary. It's just, like, nice for, like, the public safety, I guess.
Well, if they want to protect future victims as well as the current one, I would say it's necessary.
Because it involves a minor in this case, they can legally even say what that hypothetical statement giving out.
You literally can't make a statement whatsoever.
The whole argument he's making is a paradox. He's like, the reason Twitch can't leak it is because they need to protect the victim. That's why Cody's so awesome for leaking it.
He is a very upstanding individual. I can say that there is no NDA and that he really he walked his dog, came home and said, "It will do it live," and made the tweet. There is actually no, like, contractual reason why this happened. It is left ambiguous about what his tweet even means to this day anyway. That tweet did not happen.
I feel sorry for Hassan here. Like, dude is just, like, so not engaged. This Slasher is not doing a good job here, in my opinion.
Primary sources and a certain document, which I have received and other journalists have received that is floating out there, would not have been revealed without the tweet.
He then reveals that Cody has never seen the messages.
Cody, by the way, is a secondhand source. So Cody was never a primary source. Cody, I can say, never saw the whispers directly. Cody never saw the trust and safety document that has been going around. Cody, for example, was never a primary source. Okay, Cody, as a person, was always a secondhand person to gain knowledge from somebody else.
Are you saying he didn't have firsthand of this? Wasn't he head of partnerships at Twitch?
It doesn't matter.
So he didn't know then, for sure. He had no idea. No first.
So trust and safety is going to be separate. Trust and safety is going to be separate.
But you're saying that he didn't talk to this guy or see this stuff for himself.
No.
So the only public nameable source has not seen the messages. That's crazy. So the new excuse becomes, well, we can't show them because that'll interfere with the legal case.
Trust and safety and enforcement ops and, a lot of things I talk about, like them doing the work that they did is why everyone had been in the dark this whole time. If things had gotten out earlier, if you had wanted Twitch to explain, that would have compromised the entire case, and that would compromise everyone else that is there.
He doesn't.
So that's a good argument, though. Like, people consider Cody Connors a scumbag for promoting his band, and then it becomes... So the inherent question is why now, right? Absolutely. This should have been revealed. This should have been, hey, we need to report this, right? This is not okay. You don't message minors inappropriately as an adult. Like, this is just logical. This is just being an adult, right? Why now? And that's why we initially dismissed it as, oh, this dude's just trying to promote his band by just making up these allegations and accusations. Kay, where's your, hey, Heavenly, how's it going? Where's your stuff, right? Where's your citation for this? Until, once again, we come around to the sticking point of the official statement. And thus, with the official statement, it ends up just being like, well, I mean, he did admit it. So, I mean, the question just comes back to why. Did an NDA expire? Did Cody Connors just not get some money? Why? And that is the question you always have to ask. Why? Why is something happening? Why is this why are you doing this? Why now? Why is the best question you can ever ask in life?
Elaborate any farther. He's already said that there was no legal case or investigation, so what could be compromised? He's seemingly making up new reasons every minute. When that doesn't work, Slasher's new talking point is to say you should never want to see the messages. You're weird for even asking. Just blindly believe journalists.
It is not the public's duty to know all this information. It can be the duty of journalists like myself and Cecilia to try to do good.
It is the public's. We as the public need to know if somebody's being inappropriate with minors. We need to know who to avoid. We need to know who not to, let children around. I think that's fair. That's why certain people have to be part of this funny little club you have to let all your neighbors know you're a part of, right? I think there does need to be some official correspondence. Cool citation here. I don't know what Slasher's doing. I don't know where he's going.
While respecting the victim and trying to get information out to the public at the same time. But sources are under no obligation to speak to journalists and to do anything. Their obligation is always for the victims in these situations. I just want to try to get that type of context out there. A lot of the piece is to contextualize why Twitch was unable to say anything.
Not public's duty, but public interest. Thank you for that, yes.
Why they do not say anything, and why something like the logs are never going to come out, nor should you want to see them. Even in general.
It's kind of like listening to In Praise of Shadows just go down his spiral, attacking Wendigo and Brandon Herrera, Shoehead and stuff. It's just watching madness in real time. It's so weird.
It should be that you don't want to see conversations for minors to try to have to prove to you or anyone on the internet about how contextually this conversation is okay or not as bad or whatever. For you to
Okay, I think I understand what he's trying to get across. It is not it's not the public's business to have access to all of these messages. However, and that's to protect the individual, the victim, that's to protect people involved, right? That only works when journalism works, though, in my opinion, right? That's like if a journal outlet was going to do something on, I don't know, a new game, or they're going to do something about new Walmart price features, right? And they relay it to the journalist because they're the outlet and the outlet publishes it. But if the outlet completely just misconstrues information, spreads mis or disinformation, you see where that breaks down, though, especially when there's no journalistic integrity for a lot of outlets, right? I see a Dexerto article on Twitter, I just ignore it. Whatever Dexerto has to say, I just completely ignore. And I think a lot of people do that too with a number of outlets, right? So I understand what he's trying to say and what he's trying to get across, and the ethics in regards to we need to keep this information to the people who need to see this information, and then we relay this to the public, and the public is able to have their opinion. But journalism has to work first in order for that to happen. That's weird to deconstruct that argument.
Want to have to see it is not a realistic thing that you or anyone else on the internet should ever expect.
Eventually, he just says these messages won't leak. In fact, they don't even exist anymore, so stop asking.
If they don't see the actual whispers and messages that happened here, they'll never be convinced, and that is not going to happen. From what I understand, those do not exist. All right, those are not, at least from those people that I have talked to, if they exist, they do not know that they exist. You will never see them.
And you could. Some
expectation. No, that would be insane.
So you know what? I will trust the journalist. As long as they have verified the content with their own eyes, that's good enough for me. But they haven't. I want you to listen through this hypothetical.
Can I ask you a question on this thing? So let's say I give you firsthand information about Destiny. Okay. And I show you stuff, but I don't let you make a copy. But you know now this is legit shit. So I show you a video of Destiny stomping on puppies, and it's like the most fucked up shit you've ever seen.
Right.
But you know this is legit. Like, you can't deepfake what I just showed you. You're throwing up. It's so fucking unbelievably. And he's sitting there saying, "Yeah, look, dogs. Doesn't matter. I eat them for meat. Why would I care about them here?" Like, the whole thing. It's real. I've shown you this. I'm obviously a good friend of Destiny, the whole thing. But I'm like, listen, I can't give you a copy of this. He knows I'm the only one who has a copy. I don't even know why he sent it to me. Are you going to report on it?
No.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Really? So let's take that into context of the Dr. Disrespect situation, right? If someone you knew showed you an image, a video, a text message, right, that they were interacting inappropriately with a minor, right, this other person, being an adult, do you report on that? Fuck yeah, I report on that. Like, excuse you? What? Woo, okay, that's a new one here. How to kill your reputation speedrun.
I need the copy of the tape.
Wow, that's a very high bar for verification. I respect that. So I figured Slasher must have the messages. So I asked him, Slasher, I need to know, do you have the messages? Have you seen them? Do you know who may have them? He says, I do not have the messages. Only a very few have access within Twitch. I told him that I don't understand why the messages couldn't be leaked, and he replied,
So, okay, we're gonna put on Big Brain Kip here for a second, right? We're gonna put on my own actual college experience. I did a report on Ed Gein in high school, right? Those of you that know, awesome. Those of you that don't know who Ed Gein is, don't Google it. Trust me on this, okay? So, those that do know of Ed Gein know about his house, right? And what was in his house, okay? Remember that his house got burnt down? The officers that first went in, right? When the police got involved, they vomited. It was just an absolute horrible sight, right? Yeah, they burnt it to the ground, right? Now, there are certain people that should have access to stuff like that, right? If someone was trying to be an Ed Gun copycat unalivers, right? Like, if someone was trying to idolize it and, do what he's doing. Okay, maybe there's an argument there in order to have stuff like that. And you have people like Zach Bagans who just buy his pot, which Zach Bagans is strange. He got really weird after Ghost Adventure Season 2. I don't know what happened to Zach Bagans. He definitely kind of went off the rails a little bit. But in a situation like that, where we have a very serious situation, do you think that random chat member, do you think that you should have access to pictures of the inside of Ed Gein's house? Right? I mean, there could be an argument yes, there could be an argument no, but what ends up happening in that case is, yeah, you guys weren't there. You guys didn't want to be there, okay? This is what happened. This is what you need to know. This is some pretty bad stuff, so that's why we burnt down the house, right? So, calling it from my own experience in doing a college paper on this man, right? You apply it to a serious situation like that, you can see like, okay, yeah, so some material should be in the hands of this. In the case of this, especially if messages involved a minor being inappropriate, I can absolutely see only law enforcement and certain professionals having access to it. It is then law enforcement's duty. It's the duty of people who regulate this stuff to make sure the public is aware, or make sure that the end user reading the article, watching a video, etc., is aware of it. Because at the end of the day, for someone like him, it could be just one person. One person's all it takes, though. For another person, though, it could go on. It could go unchecked. That's why you have people that get part of the funny little club, right? Hey, hi, Mr. and Mrs. John Doe, Jane Doe. I'm part of this funny little club I'm obligated to let you know I'm a part of, and I just moved into your neighborhood, right? Like, in his case, while it may have just been one, which is enough, this has knock-on effects for people that don't stop at one. And that's the thing. We know that it's one right now. Thus, doubt is cast. Is it just one? Is it more than one? Yeah.
That seems very misguided. I don't know why people are clamoring for this. He reiterates that we have to trust what Twitch is doing, and that someone in his position as a journalist has completely verified the information, and it has passed both the journalistic and legal bar. If you noticed, he's not answering my questions, so I repeat myself. Just to verify, you did see them with your own eyes. He ignores me and tells me I could track down primary sources, but
that's deflection. That's not an answer. It's a non-answer.
He won't tell me where to start. So I asked the same question again. Just to clarify, you saw the messages with your own eyes. This is not some word of mouth shit. And he replies, the whispers and statements were seen by sources who had direct knowledge / access to them. Remember when I said that Slasher loves giving off the perception that he's more credible than he actually is? I repeat myself for the 4th time. But did you see them? Please be direct. And he finally says, no, I mentioned that already. Really? Because I had a different interpretation when you said you completely verified the information. Our definition of the word verified is not the same. Does anyone else?
I guess. So if you're verifying it with a primary source, that could realistically mean that you're discussing with somebody that saw it with their own eyes. If I were to do a paper or do a report on the Holocaust or the Holodomor, right? I could talk to people that were, in the midst of the Holocaust, of the Holodomor, right? Both of these events in history. And they were a primary source because they experienced it. So therefore, I corroborate with that source, and therefore I'm able to verify with a primary source. I could see something like that being what he's trying to get across. I think it's disingenuous to cover that up, though. If I was to do a report, I was to do the same report and said, oh, well, I saw it. No, Kip, you saw pictures, you saw videos, you didn't experience it. You weren't there. What? I think that is me having to delve into the primary source argument. And I think there's an argument to be had here. I don't know. It's hard to say. It depends on how Slasher put it out. Because if he put it out as he saw all of it and is now saying, oh no, I corroborated with primary sources, that's not really integral.
Feel like this is a problem? This is being pitched as a case closed allegation. Cody, the ex-employee who broke the story, has not seen the messages. Slasher, the journalist who's been taking all the credit, has not seen the messages. The Bloomberg journalist has not seen the messages. Twitch apparently can't release the messages because it will compromise the victim. Twitch apparently can't redact the messages because it would be illegal. Twitch apparently can't give a statement because that will ruin the legal case. Oh, but also there is no case or investigation taking place. All of this is stemming from an anonymous source that used to work at Twitch's Trust and Safety. But the only damning part of this story is Doc's tweet responding to Cody, admitting he—
Right there, chat member. You are correct. With all of this, had he not made this tweet, we would still be asking for evidence. I would be asking for evidence. Kira TV would be asking for evidence, I'm pretty sure. Moist Critical would be asking for evidence. Some ordinary gamers, right? Why did he make this tweet? That's my question. This could have all been a situation in which, okay, you got a source on that? Do you have anything for me? Do you have a source? No, you're just going to say this and you're trying to promote your band allegedly with this? I mean, seems pretty sus to me, Captain, right? But him making this tweet, I kind of just want to know who his legal team is and who his legal firm is, like what law firm he's using, so I can just avoid them. If he was in fact legally coached to say this. Why did he say this? I'm glad that we know that this happened, and now we, know, hey, this person's messaging someone inappropriately. But I think that, yes, people in chat, we have all of us are just if this didn't come out, we would have still been hey, we need this evidence. You can't make accusations like this without proof. But he damns himself. It's wild. It's senseless. It's like, what the hell?
Inappropriately messaged a minor. Look, Twitch has screwed up this entire story. Slasher defending him, saying they paid him out, let him exist for 4 years growing on another platform, all because the victim didn't want her anonymous messages to get out there, is like saying the police chose to let a murderer get away because the family doesn't want to relive the trauma. It's stupid because it's potentially putting public safety at risk. So what does this mean? People like me are going to read in between the lines and assume these messages are way worse than Doc is letting on. That the anonymous sources are probably right. But the reality is, when Doc comes back, he says he's going to come back. He's going to frame it like this. The tweet I made was panicked and had to be purposely vague. The messages were simply out of context jokes that maybe leaned inappropriate at times, but nothing more. It's not serious. Nothing illegal happened. No pictures were shared. No crimes were committed. Twitch says they gave it to authorities.
No crimes were committed. That's the legalese that I look into it. I'm like, this has to be legal coaching.
But there was no charges. I'd like to give more context, but I'm tied to legal obligations. I didn't do anything wrong. No wrongdoings were found. And Twitch paid me. I would bet money that...
Here we go, right? This is the legal. This is what leads me to believe that he was coached. I didn't do anything wrong. There's no admission of guilt. All this has been probed and settled, right? This is the resolution of the situation. Nothing illegal. No wrongdoing was found, and I was paid. This is what leads me to believe that he is legally coached in some capacity.
Paid me. I would bet money that this is a statement, and without evidence, this is really hard to dispute. People like me have nothing to point to besides anonymous sources and journalists who haven't seen anything. The public will believe Doc because that's the only information that will exist.
Shame on you, Dr. Disrespect! Shame on you for what you do!
People are not going to believe journalists just because they say so. There's been too many cases where the reality turned out different than the allegation initially led on. And these cases frankly had more evidence. Slasher is just not a good journalist. He would go on his sound stream to promote his article and he would say that Doc was arrested because of this story.
I did get a DM about an hour ago from someone who lives in Encientes.
I don't even care, bro. I don't care about the speculation. I don't care about reaching at straws. At the end of the day, we have an official statement that says the message with the minor did take place and they leaned on being inappropriate. That's all I care about. And I think that there is absolutely reason for people to be making videos on this. There is absolutely reason for people to try to break new story and try to dig into this, right? Because it's a big situation. This is big, especially if YouTube, right, knew about this and still let him on the platform. If Twitch knew about this and didn't do anything. If his business partners, his game studio, all of them knew this and let it go, right? If they all knew, that's a problem. At the end of the day, I don't care about any of these anonymous sources. Slasher hasn't won me over in any regard. What I care about is an official statement that says, hey, this happened. This was inappropriate with a minor. Cool. No, you're done. I want to stress that, and I've said it throughout the video, because through all of this, that is the part that matters to me. That is from the primary source, the primary person, Dr. Disrespect, that is his own statement. If that came from, I don't know, if that official statement came from Hassan, right, currently on screen, right? Okay, treated differently. It came from the horse's mouth. That's the problem. Like, that's what's cut and dry to me. I want to impart that that's why I have the view that I do. Because it's like, what's a good example? It's like if you're at your job and your buddy tells you that your night manager is embezzling funds or is stealing stuff. But then you talk to your night manager, and they admit that they steal stuff, or you catch them stealing something. You see how that has a different like context behind it, right? Like, yo, I saw that, bro. Come on now. That's it.
Near Rancho Santa Fe. That is the area that Dr. Disrespect lives in.
Mm-hmm.
And he sent me a screenshot from his next door, which is in that area. And there is a comment. This was from 11 a.m. this morning, so this is before my article came out. There is a comment that says, "We just saw Dr. Disrespect in handcuffs." He lives right there. Assuming it has something to do with the accusations.
He's doing that thing.
Assuming it has something to do with the accusations. You have no evidence other than an hour ago you got an email with some speculation. That's wrong.
Where he's making it sound like he has some credible source. He doesn't. It's just a Nextdoor post. Even Hassan's like, dude, you're not helping out your credibility with this.
I cannot confirm or verify anything, but this is coming from someone who is in that Nextdoor, and this is from
bro. Okay,
but you lead with that, my guy. I can't confirm or deny that, you know, some Marines got drunk one night and they sent a washing machine 3 states over, right? I mean, I have heard this is potentially a thing, but I haven't confirmed this. I don't have anything to support that. You see how I led with that, right? Now, if I get someone from the Marine Corps commenting, oh boy, I can't tell you the details, but that washing machine did end up. Okay, cool. Now we've had some independent verification on that to a degree. Like, bro, if it's speculative, you lead with that. Come on.
Listen, I didn't hear that. I don't know what you're talking about. I feel like
wild,
I don't
dude.
know. I don't know how to respond to this. Okay. I can't believe you just dropped that in here. Because like, if that is untrue, this is like you're squandering all of the cultural capital that you're winning back by being correct on this matter for the past 4 years.
Towards the end of the interview, a viewer would point out that this was fake, and Slasher would just ignore it, continuing to promote his article.
The Nextdoor screenshot about Doc being arrested is fake. It's a fake screenshot. I didn't even show the Nextdoor screenshot. But I don't, like I said, that is like unconfirmed anyway. I would not run with that. Other words,
thank you for reading, everyone. Please go click and give me traffic if you have not while I'm here.
The top comment of Slasher's interview says, "You could tell me that Slasher has never known anything about this entire situation, and I would 100% believe you. He's a terrible journalist, and if he never returned to cover this story, there would be less confusion. He keeps talking as if he knows things when he doesn't."
Who do you think is winning the Drake and Kendrick Lamar beef? Says, I'm just random. Drake's winning.
In conclusion, I place a lot of blame on Twitch, and I think there's 2 distinct possibilities for what happened. One is that Doc is 100% guilty. The anonymous sources are dead on. They get the report, they want to cut ties with him, but they don't want the bad press of one of their biggest stars being a pedo. This is a dark reality, meaning that Twitch covered up this guy soliciting a minor for their brand. The second possibility is that Twitch staff saw inappropriate messages, they reported it to authorities, and they banned them. But maybe those messages weren't as explicit depending on your interpretation. And Twitch—
And this is fair. It depends. We just see that it leaned on the side of being inappropriate. What does that mean? Does that mean that he was explicit? Did that mean that he was discussing adult matters, like he was discussing maybe going to a certain club, right? Spearmint Rhino, something like that? Was he discussing military history, such as, you know, World War II, stuff that happened, like Unit 731? What was discussed, right? Some people like me, it doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, if I'm playing Yu-Gi-Oh! And I have a 10-year-old sitting across from me, you know what I do? I don't discuss Sargon of Akkad. I don't discuss the nature of economics and like human struggle. No. Hey, bro, stop. You have to allow me my chance to counter. You played this. Ash Blossom. Cool, let's continue. And as soon as we're done with their game, cool, nice game. Gonna bounce now, right? And then I leave and I do whatever, right? If they try to find me after the fact, look, kid, this is inappropriate. You really should be hanging out with kids your own age. Find the cool adult or cool teacher in your life. Learn why they're cool adults, right? That this is not appropriate. And you leave it at that. It's pretty cut and dry to me. There is argument. Yes, I think that Willie Mack Show citing this is absolutely on point. To people like me, it doesn't matter. The fact is we have an admission by Dr. Disrespect himself saying message with a minor happened, and it sometimes leaned towards being inappropriate, which is more than should have happened.
Twitch's lawyers realized this put him in a legally tricky situation, so they settled and paid out. In both scenarios, the Twitch employees are telling the truth, but in option 2, Doc is telling the truth as well. I personally think that he only came out with this statement vaguely admitting to stuff because he thought the messages were going to leak after Cody's post. I'm 75% leaning towards the first theory, but I guess we'll never know. Everyone agrees on one thing though, if the DMs don't leak, Doc is going to be able to set the narrative for his comeback.
Is there some bizarro world that he gets more popular?
Yes.
I don't know.
When he returns to streaming.
If you were to ask me this question, 5 days ago, I would have said no. But considering that I have seen so much defense of Dr. Disrespect's actions from people who understand the situation and yet still defend him, and people who, like, I guess, are voluntarily misunderstanding the situation and defend him, I don't know. Maybe there is a market for this sort of thing.
By misunderstanding, he means people who want to see the evidence. It's hard to blame them because no public source has seen the messages. Evidence matters. Well, there you go. The full doc story. Now you could drum up your own conclusions. Thank you for
Dear God, he said it. He said it, and this is why I love this man.
watching. Subscribe to the channel. Shout out to the homies over on Patreon. Phoebes, Crimson Glass, Riveter, Christina Vina, Mac Monkey, Drain Kobex, Necro Valley, Stefan Bildman, Abby Blackbird, The Confusing Opinion, Eddie Bizzle, Tiz McFitz, Christopher H, TV Anthology Reviews, Kenkel Morse, Sennial Music, Lucas If, ET Automatic, Snoopy Poop Doop 2, Amur ML Bay, Albert Kreslak, Deep Pocket Jew, Beth Anderson, Phoenix, Rooney Boo, and the Mega Homies, Reynold Hughes Hellison, IGP, Your Taxi, Latchkey Gothboy, Cyber Katie, Lori Loaded, Papa Gut, Caden Lulin, Exo Irish Exo, BA Subway, Hawkin Load, Zerophonic, Derek 2, Kitty Cat, Herox, Fayunder, John Manfreda, Frick, Lucas, Doggerino, Cripperino, Lucas, and Katie Huck.
I like it. I like that he ended it with, hey, wink, wink, make your own conclusion from this. If you haven't checked out Willie Mack Show, I absolutely recommend that you go ahead and check out Willie Mack Show. This is also a really interesting situation and where bad journalism is actively killing a situation. And at the end of the day, you should be formulating your own opinion. Take all the information you can and make your own educated decision. For me and people I know, all I see is an official statement from an adult that says this happened, things that happened were inappropriate. I don't care. Do not pass go. I'm out, homie. And it could just be that, once again, they're talking about military history, or they're talking about something that is, for all intents and purposes, pretty benign. It could be that, and I've seen that argument, and it's not helping that we have Slasher, someone who is engaging in some pretty bad journalism, right? Not helping the situation. In regards to, if a kid walks over, like chat's saying, oh, hey, what if he walks over and this kid's just wanting tips or something that's not inappropriate? No, don't even open yourself up to that. If it's during the game and they say, like, hey, how do I get this Blue Eyes out easier? Well, have you tried Silver's Cry? Have you tried Ancient Rules? Have you tried trading? Have you tried stuff like this, right? Have you tried getting another searcher in there, right? But as soon as I leave that, no, don't do it. Because while I don't have ill intent, other people could, and that's a problem. But yeah, no, he could get more popular. He could come back stronger than ever on this. And at this point, I think that my gaze is falling not only to Twitch and YouTube, but all of his business partners and all these companies that were sponsoring him and were partnered with him. Because I think that that's the next logical thing of just who was involved in this, who knew what, how were you aware of this? And especially, as Willie Mack said earlier, if YouTube did have full understanding of this, that's a problem for me. But what's your opinion on this? This is kind of the last big thing, unless there's a big update that ends up happening, such as this all ended up being fake news, right? Well, it's kind of the last thing I'll do on this for Dr. Disrespect. But come to your own conclusion. Let me know what you thought. Let me know if you think that my rants are more coherent than Slasher trying to explain why he can't show receipts. And thank you for watching. I definitely appreciate you being here for the past hour and a half.